A very simple question to answer. When Tampon Timmy, Cerebral Walzy, said that he was a command sergeant major and retired as a command sergeant major, was that stolen valor? To answer the question, he retired as a master sergeant. 24 years in the National Guard. 24 years as a master sergeant. Laudable, respectable, no doubt it. The question is, he said he was a command sergeant major. Do you think there was any likelihood that somebody who was in the National Guard for that amount of time, who was that proficient with that rank, the highest enlisted rank there is, the fact that it had to be maintained, it had to be certified, it had to be basically, again, the word is maintained, but you had to do the paperwork or the coursework. Do you think the fact that he knew that he retired, what you retire as, do you think that's stolen valor? Now, the question is, I'll just cut to the chase. If you're using falsified, I'm giving a very generalized version of the statute, but if you use a falsified version of your military career in order to get something of value, whatever, that's one thing. If you're just kind of BSing or embellishing for purposes of what? Running for vice president? You don't think that's getting something of value? But, people will argue whether it's actually stolen valor. But in my book, ladies and gentlemen, it is the most stolen of valors there is when you are trying to do it, when you're using this duplicity and prevarication and mendacity and perjury in order to secure a position of vice president. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. The level of lying that this man has had, and I would also suggest that, and there could very well be a statute that when you are planning to use involving something involving the federal government or something along those lines, and you also exhibit prevarication and lying and everything, I think it is the same thing. What he has lied about, there's no end to it. My wife used IVF, in vitro fertilization. I keep thinking about my friend Curtis Lewa, who used the phrase veto in fertilization years ago. Veto's in the South Bronx. And he confused that with intrauterine insemination, claiming that Donald Trump was somehow against those concepts, which he apparently does not understand. It's not true. He lied while trying to secure the position of vice president regarding being the head coach or leading a Minnesota team to the state championship when he didn't. He lied about not having been drinking. Well, when he was charged with DUI, he pled to not a lesser included, but a reduced charge or an amended charge of reckless driving. After he, quote, failed the breathalyzer. I mean, all of these aspects, and he keeps going on and on and on. He lied about being in war, lied about carrying a weapon of war, lied about his service, lied over and over. But yet, when you are using your position as a command sergeant major, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but a fellow named Don Shipley is a retired SEAL. And his YouTube channel is Buds 131 or whatever it's called. Buds class, basic underwater demolition, /SEALs. And he always asks people who claim to be SEALs, because his job is to unearth and to expose fake, phony, and fraudulent SEALs. he will always ask him, "Oh, you're a SEAL, are you?" "Yes." "What was your BUDS class?" "What? Hell, I don't remember that." Or "That's classified." Or, I don't know. It's been such a long time ago. Or "I took a couple of rifle butts to the head." Let me ask you something. What year did you graduate from high school? Do you know anybody who's ever, for example, said, "I don't know, I don't remember what year. It was a long time ago. 70, I don't know." Can you name anybody in your class? And this is high school. So anyway, he exposes these people. And the question always becomes, are they committing stolen valor? And a lot of times they're just doing it just for some weird kind of a psychosexual need to embellish one's image. But in this case, dear friends, I suggest to you that the case could be made and should be made that Tampon Tim, who suffers from cerebral palsy, I believe, and the case could be made that he is indeed, by virtue of the fact that he is lying about whether having been retired as a command sergeant major, and these are terms that somebody in the National Guard, by the way, would not confuse. You would not confuse these terms, especially when you were one, and then you had that distinction lapse or become invalid because your inability, deliberate or otherwise, not to pursue the coursework or the requirement or the paperwork. Translation: he's a liar. He's a pathological liar. He's demented. He doesn't answer questions. And then when you catch him in a lie, he says things like, "I'm a knucklehead. I misspoke." The funny thing is that Jim Gaffigan's character, Jim Gaffigan's portrayal of this man is probably better. His portrayal, Jim Gaffigan, of Tim Walz, I would vote for if I had to, versus the real person. His wife, who smelled the fire and the burning tires. This man who refused to call the National Guard, of which he was associated with for 24 years, while his city and his state burned. I despise this man because he is a liar. He is a pathological liar. And if you really wanted to look at this thing closer, and I'm sure if there was an industrious federal prosecutor somewhere, the case could certainly be made that not only could some form of stolen valor, but some type of outright fraud was being implemented in order to secure a federal position, to wit, Vice President of these United States. Thank you, my friends. Subscribe to Lionel Legal. I almost got the wrong name. I got Lionel Nation. This is Lionel Legal. Make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Like this video. Subscribe to Lionel Legal. And please, I beg, import you and ask of you to comment as you see fit.